Hello, everybody. Zack Attack is here, my attack review of the WWE Raw tonight, Monday, May 16th, 2016. For this, the final Raw before Extreme Rules, taking place tonight from Greensboro, North Carolina. WWE doesn't boycott NC like everybody else because of the bathroom laws. Best of here for another day about my political thoughts, which I don't want to explain it here, but unless it's wrestling politics backstage. Anyway, with this being the last Raw before Extreme Rules, that was an okay one. I'm glad we didn't do many interference finishes like we did last week. I did not make a Raw review last week because I was at the Ring of Honor, New Japan, Best of the World, not Best of the World, War of the Worlds show in Dearborn, Michigan, which was phenomenal. Review of that show is on this channel. So it's all a lot of interference endings, but not a lot of them tonight. Close to being one, but glad we didn't get there. Plus, we got some matches made. New matches announced for Extreme Rules. New step added to a couple matches or two. And debut of a tag team you've seen the vignettes for last month. And a team that finally got together at the 5 months that went too damn long. Let's get to with AJ Styles kicking us off. Talk about his match this Sunday against Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship in the Extreme Rules match. Saying that everyone's thinking that he and Anderson and Gallows only got together only to screw Roman Reigns. That they're the club. That's what they're calling it, the club. They couldn't get the Bullet Club trademark because they're still using it. Especially with new member Adam Cole, baby! Being at it. And Adam Page, too. And I was there when he joined. So it's like, everyone thinks that we're in cahoots to screw Roman Reigns. That's not the case. But Roman thinks otherwise, as he came out to a thunderous, mostly booze, of course, the typical Roman Reigns cheer, or jeer, should I say. He's like, yeah, boys are going to screw me over, going to try to screw me over. But if they do, my fam will be on my side. And of course, my fam will be taking you down. Or taking your boys down tonight at their tag team match tonight on Monday Night Raw. And I'll be in my corner. I'll be in their corner. And AJ's like, I'll be in the boys' club's corner too. As Reigns came out, we heard, we want Rollins' chances. But a lot of rumors about Seth Rollins the last couple of days. He didn't show up tonight. That's spoiler alert already. He didn't show up tonight. There was kind of a little bit of rumors he was going to show up tonight, but that wasn't the case. The rumored comeback return is June 6th for Seth Rollins. And it's like same as Rollins signs. He is coming back, like I said, within a quick amount of time from a devastating injury that ruined his title reign and shortened it too. Well, you know what I mean. You know, tragic end to his reign. His up and down reign as champion. But I would say Ned did not announce that. I wish it was like a more of a surprise. But hey, that's when he's supposed to come back June 6th. Or maybe they're just saying that just to trick us. Maybe he's coming back the day after Extreme Rules. We shall see. But Rollins' return is imminent. So we gotta keep our eyes peeled. Now on to our first match of the night. Sami Zayn against us all. 2 men in the Fatal 4-Way match this Sunday for the WWE but the Intercontinental Championship. You gotta notice of 2 things. 1, Lily Garcia did not get fired. She was still speaking. Tonight she came back after a couple weeks off, which led to many people thought she got fired. But those rumors, of course, clarified as false. When she showed up on the wall for the first 7 weeks, she released a statement saying that she took the time off because her dad was ill. And now she's back. And also the thing to mention, Kevin Owens is not really injured. As you know of, there was a little bit of rumor of getting injured. The injury bug big him, but that's not happening. He was still wrestled this Sunday, as we know of. He and Miz were both at ringside. They won their match against Cesaro and Sami Zayn, tag match. But Cesaro got accidentally a haluva kicked, which led towards this matchup between these 2 guys. So as Cesaro and Sami Zayn were starting to get things going, started having a little grapple, Miz and Owens were going back and forth at the announce table. won the tag, even though Miz laid Owens out with a skull crushing finale after the match. They brawled outside the ring. That brawl went into the ring, causing disqualification in the Sami Zayn's Cesaro match. So then the team of Stephanie and Shane, the reluctant team, were trying to make the best out of the silly situation of them both winning Raw. Ultimate cop-out, but hey, WWE logic for you. Come out and say, hey, let's do a tag match. The rematch from SmackDown. Cesaro and Sami against Owens and Miz. But Steph's like, wait a minute. Well, Shane came out first, Steph came out second. Saying, if we're reluctant to team up with each other, let's have more reluctant tag teams. Let's have different teams. Cesaro teams up with The Miz. And Kevin Owens teams up with Sami Zayn. This combustible match only got more combustible with Owens and Zayn in their notorious rivalry. They worked okay well. You know, despite their quabbles. You know, of course, their huge indifferences. They did try well, you know, they blind tag each other. Cesaro and Miz also were quarreling with each other too. Despite both teams being reluctant to team up with each other, they still had a fun little tag, to be fair. But it was, well, Sami and, like, it was like different stories on both sides. Well, Owens and Sami was just hitting each other. Cesaro and Miz were playing a game of I can do better. And Cesaro copied Miz's moves. Miz tried to copy Cesaro's moves. And that eventually cost him the matchup. As Miz was teasing the swing, because Cesaro was trying to do the swing, Miz blind tagged himself in. He tried to do the swing. But then Cesaro laid out Miz with his own finisher. Skull crushing finale. Which led to Sami Zayn taking on Miz with the Luva kick. An 1-2-3 victory for Sami Zayn, pinning the Intercontinental Championship holder. But Owens wanted to make everyone know that he won too. He laid out Sami Zayn with a big, nasty move. That move is, of course, a super kick, with Owens' hand being raised too, because he won too. Even though Sami won the fall, his team won. But now these four will take on each other for the Intercontinental Championship this Sunday. Now on to a debut of a, well, should I say the re-debut of a repackaged team. We've seen the vignettes for about a month, but they being the Shining Stars of Puerto Rico, the Caribbean. That's a new team named the Shining Stars, others known as Primo and Epico. And I was like, the vignettes didn't do well. You know, the vignettes were okay, but it didn't really add anything. It didn't really, like, define who they were. It didn't really show people what they were going to get with these guys coming in as repackaged guys. They should have had, like, maybe had, like, Los Matadors masks or something laying around to really identify that, hey, we're new guys. You know, let people know that they were formerly these guys. At least acknowledge that, but they never really did. So they came out, and I was saying to my Attack Sports today, I was like, I was wondering what the reaction was going to be. I hope it wasn't going to be like a Corpus Christi crowd when they sit on their hands. Well, it was that. They said it was crickets. Crickets when it came out. Not much reaction. They cut a little promo saying that the ring is our paradise. It reminds us of Puerto Rico, a paradise. So we had a couple of jobbers. And I like you, Primo and Epico. They're a good team. But they have they have not defined their characters yet. You know, the promos didn't really help them. Remind me of another team that came with these vignettes. You know, they were repackaged as a team. Their vignettes didn't help them either. You know, the vignettes did not show who they were. It didn't show anybody what these guys are capable of. The promos, the vignettes was stupid and silly. It didn't really help them out. And the reaction was flat. They got booed out the building everywhere. They're trying to be baby faces. But then despite the initial promo, the initial build on them being so bad with the vignettes, they eventually outgrew that. Ended up becoming the best thing on WWE television right now. And the most funniest thing on the show, you may have heard of these guys, who debuted so badly, with bad vignettes and all, but ended up adding definitions to their characters as time went on. It became the focal point of Raw every week. Little group you may have heard of called The New Day. They had the same problem. The vignettes with the Judge Cryer, we thought it would be like a Elite Nation nomination thing. Those promos with the Cryer did not help him at all. The reaction was flat when they debuted. And that's what's happening to Primo and Epico. You know, they had a little gimmick going, a decent gimmick, but the promos did not define it. You know, vignettes didn't help them. But like New Day, it'll take time to add some definition to their character, and maybe they'll get over. Once they add more little wrinkles and little refinement into their characters. Add a little more oomph to it. Add more substance to it than just, oh, we're the Shining Stars of the Caribbean. That, like I said, those vignettes didn't help them. And that's why I got a flat reaction tonight. I did like the double team finish. Reminds me of the Fallen Man, the Ascension's finisher, a little bit. But there you go. We'll see how this unfolds in the end of the day. At least it's better than being Los Matadores. I'll say that much. Being Shining Stars or anything is better than being Los Matadores. It being stuck with El Torito, who got fired recently. Good luck in your future endeavors, kid. Anyway, on to the next segment. Dean Ambrose, talking about Chris Jericho. Now, you may question the build-up on the feud with inanimate objects being the heat points. Chris Jericho smashing Mitch 2 weeks ago, and last week on Raw, Dean Ambrose smashing Chris Jericho's $15,000, as he said, jacket. His shiny little jacket, whipped it all up to pieces. Ended up being put in a straight jacket by Chris Jericho. Some say went too far. Well, you want an attitude. You want TV 14. You got it, bitch. Don't say, oh, we want TV 14. It's something like that happens. You're like, oh, no, we don't want that. Fuck you. That's how PC. That's the problem with trying to bring attitudinal stuff back. We want it, but we're too PC now. We're too conservative now. We want that stuff, but we like, we're too ugly. We're too scared now. We have no balls. That's kind of what they did in that segment last week. But Ambrose wanted a piece of Jericho tonight. Or at least wanted to talk to him. And Jericho wanted an apology from Ambrose by whipping up his jacket. And Ambrose is like, I'm not giving you an apology. How about a match for Extreme Rules? And I knew that would happen. I knew they would probably have a match at Extreme Rules, especially from this lack of a build. But then I was like, there's got to be a snippet to it. Street fight kind of thing. And don't do like you do. Don't do like you did with Lesnar and Ambrose. Tease the weapons with Ambrose, but never let him use it. You gave him the baseball bat with barbed wire. You gave it to Ambrose, and Ambrose was like, I'm going to use this baseball bat with barbed wire. I'm going to use it. I'm going to tease you guys. Fuck you. Just a teaser. Pfft. Don't just tease the use of weapons. Let him fucking use the weapons this time. Especially the way we got this step. And it's kind of an interesting step. An asylum match. Don't you mean steel cage? Because that's a cage. No. It's a black cage, not a clear stage. A cage. And there's weapons on top of the cage to prevent escape. Straight jacket and a 2x4 with barbed wire. Don't just tease using an Ambrose. Use the fucking 2x4 with barbed wire. Not just did like he did with Brock Lesnar. And all that build up with you using weapons. You didn't even use any of them much. That's why the match of Mania was underwhelming. Hopefully this isn't. Because the payback match was okay. Went a little long. But now with weapons involved in this asylum thing, this could be an interesting payoff despite shitty build. Despite a shitty build, the asylum match could make up for it. So there you go. Speaking of matches in Extreme Rules, we thought we probably would have gotten a match between Becky Lynch and possibly Sasha Banks to team up against Dana Brooke and Emma. Because last week Dana Brooke made her main roster debut teaming up with Emma like they did in NXT. Things were going so great for Emma. Back on main roster again as a heel, and a partner for NXT came in, and things were looking bright for these two to be a dominant, evil tag team in the main roster. Until the injury bug bit again. Emma got injured must need surgery. So that means everyone's floundering. That means Sasha Banks will be sitting on the shelf again. We heard we want Sasha chance during this next matchup between Dana Brooke and Becky Lynch. What's the direction for Dana Brooke now that Emma's out for an uncertain amount of time? We shall see. Because Dana Brooke did have help beating Becky on SmackDown, hence this rematch. Last minute, especially after the sad injury of Emma, like I mentioned, at a house show Sunday. But, show must go on. We'll see how they salvage Dana with her partner injured. Kind of like what they're doing right now with Big Cass with Enzo being out. At least they're still using him. Instead of just letting him sit on the shelf and wait for his partner to return. Same with Dana Brooke. They're not going to wait for Emma to return. They're still going to use Dana Brooke in situations. We'll see how they use it. Especially this matchup was a decent little matchup. Dana Brooke looking good. I think she's really decently improved. Came out to her own theme, not Emma's theme. To a theme that she used in NXT. And I like the acrobatic entrance tonight. I think she always has done that, but it's cool seeing it on the main roster, on Wall. So that decent little matchup with Dana Brooke using her aggressiveness and her bodybuilder repertoire to really beat the crap out of Becky early on. But then the last kicker came alive. Some big nasty kicks. The back exploder and all that great stuff. Trying to set up for a big finish. Trying to set up for the disarmer. But then she was going for a sunset flip. Got set on top by Dana. She didn't grab the ropes or tights. She got the pin. Set on top of Dana. Set on top of Becky. 1, 2, 3 victory for Dana Brooke. Beating Becky again with no help this time. So we'll see how this two unfold without Emma being involved now. With her injury. Now on to, finally, after, count them, 5 months. 3 months too long! We finally got the long, drawn-out debut of the Golden Truth. When they were starting the gimmick, when they were starting this whole storyline, it started off well. It had a lot of promise to it. Goldust and R-Truth being a tag team, great. But as time went on, it just dragged on too long. Goldust was playing hard to get. Then R-Truth was playing hard to get because Goldust was playing hard to get. And then they both teamed up with Fandango and Tyler Breeze. They both turned on him last week. That's causing the Golden Truth to finally come together. We finally get the payoff of this situation. We knew what the payoff would be. Finally seeing Goldust and R-Truth team together. We just wish it didn't take 5 months to get us to that payoff. We wish the payoff got here quicker. Because with it taking so long being overly drawn out, and wishing this storyline needs to fucking end, the payoff isn't as sweet now. But it still was cool to see him out there as he took on Breezango. I hope this does well for Tyler Breeze. He's been floundering on the main roster. Getting buried on the main roster. And hopefully this could really help him out. And Fandango's been floundering too. The fun, colorful gimmicks have not worked in WWE's main roster. Both working in NXT, not here much. So hopefully this could help him out. Especially the way the match kind of ended. Golden Truth looked really good early. Finally the long build, overlong, too long of a build. And I think everyone's opinion, everyone will agree with me on this one. It was too damn long of a build. Should have been 2 months. Maybe 3. Not 5! Anywho, despite Golden Truth's best efforts to try to work together as a team, and they did work well together, it was a miscalculation as R-Truth accidentally kicked the hell out of Goldust after Tyler Breeze sucked out of it. And Breeze capitalized on that misunderstanding, miscommunication. Got the pin on Goldust, 1, 2, 3 victory for Breezango. We thought Golden Truth were going to break up after all that build and all that shit. But they don't get our chakras together. So they're going to stick it out. Let it go more than a week. So, at least now they're a team. So now we get to see more shenanigans with them as a team. Instead of just, are they or will they? It's like watching a drawn-out series where you have a relationship between these two people. It's like, will they or won't they? You know, that's what they were trying to do with these two guys. You know, making us think, oh, will they ever team up or won't they team up? But it just went too long. Like I said, the bill was too long. So now on to our next segment, which actually was kind of funny. The New Day coming out, talking about the Vaudevillains taking them on this Sunday for the championships. Or should I say the WWE World Tag Team Championships. They said that the Vaudevillains are from a bygone era, the 1800s. So they removed the curtain that was on this big thing. It was like a fake time machine. Even Big E was like, that's a box. That's not a time machine. Why is the keyboard sticky? Good night, folks. Masturbation joke on TPG, people. Anywho, they took the time machine, the fake time machine, to a bygone era. They went to 2009 first, and Kofi had his fake Jamaican accent. That was funny. Funny reference of Kofi Kingston's his fake Jamaican accent. He's like, I want to stay here. 2009 was my best year. It was his best year. You know, he had a great run as U.S. champion, and he had a feud with Randy Orton that should have taken him to high status, but he floundered after that for a lot of years until the New Day saved him. So then he got to dress up like a New Day thing, dressing up like the Vaudevillains. You know, screaming black and white, and they had like, you know, fake mustaches. Even Big E was carrying bootios. They make sure you ain't booty. His box became derriere squares, making it all fancy for the 1800s. They're making fun like, oh no, this era sucks. We want a new era. But Xavier's like, no matter what era we're in, new era or old era, we will still be there and be your WWE World Tag Team. Here comes the Vaudevillains attacking them from behind. I think they have a new double team finish. Instead of using the whirling dervish. I think that's probably what the main roster folks told them. Hey, we like to give double team finish, but give a more better finish than just the whirling dervish. They had like a double team move where you put one guy on top of each other and do like a little double team move. That was cool. Maybe it's a new finisher, we'll still see. And it's kind of cool that Vaudevillains taking advantage of the injury of Enzo and Moab and taking advantage and getting a push before they may get buried like a breeze on the Ascension. But at least get a lot of heat. And I like both these teams. So we'll see what happens this Sunday. I still think New Day will retain. I like Vaudevillains. I've always been a fan of theirs in NXT. I'm glad they're heels again. And getting real heat. But I still think New Day will probably retain. Because I can't see Vaudevillains being the ones to end the reign of New Day. I'd rather see Enzo and Cass end it. I think a lot of people would agree. But we shall see. On to our next matchup. Gallows and Anderson. The Club. Taking on the Fam, the Usos. I was surprised to see this match at the start of the third hour. I thought it would be main event. Then I realized what the main event segment was, which I thought was good. That it was the segment. It was hit and miss. Attention was diverted again from where it should have been. Someone else hogged the attention again. Where it should be on the women. We'll get to that in a second, but I still liked it. There was some good and some bad in that main event segment. So we had the Usos and Gallows and Anderson. This was the best match together. Good action with, of course, Reigns and AJ being at ringside. Despite best efforts from the Club to dominate, it looked like beasts outside the ring, brawling outside the ring and taking out the Usos one by one. The Usos came, upon the pun, flying back with some double team moves, the splashes and all that stuff, and the kicks. Despite the best efforts of the Club, they fell to the Usos after the double super kicks. Took them out with a splash. 1-2-3 victory for the Usos. As Jay delivered it. Sad that the Club lost. But hey, they lost the first match. You know, Usos lost the first match to Gallows and Anderson. And now they won this one. Could be a match in Extreme Rules with an Extreme Stip added to it. But that wasn't named tonight. Then the brawl was on. between AJ and Reigns, who stood down the ring. And then the Bullet Club attacked Reigns, where the Usos come back attacking him. And then the steel chair came into play. Now, a couple weeks back, AJ had a steel chair. He was going to use it on Reigns, but he hesitated. He didn't use it. He said tonight on the microphone, I was not thinking that night. I was hesitant, but if I ever get a chance to hit you in the chair again, I would not be hesitant. I will attack you with that chair. He was going to, but the hesitation he was taking a long time to nail him with it. Got nailed with my hand from Reigns. But he got taken out again. Tried to be taken out again by Gallows and Anderson. But then 2 Superman punches in the wall to both of them. But his back turned. AJ finally got the chair. And whammo! Swing the chair to Reigns, taking him out with that chair, smashing it, benching it, until the final salvo. Delivering the Styles Clash onto Reigns, onto the chair. Yes! So there you go. AJ standing tall. But sometimes, when you see a championship storyline, we see one guy standing tall, the other guy stands tall in the pay-per-view. That Reigns will probably win again. I want AJ to win as much as the next guy, but I think Reigns will probably win. I think Rollins should beat him. I think Rollins should be the one to beat Reigns. Of all guys, you know, he never lost a title. If someone needs to end Reigns' reign, it has to be Rollins. Because he'll get a huge pop when he comes back. Huge. And he'll be a face. He has to be. Because the fans will be cheering him so much. Especially after being gone for so long with a devastating injury. So we'll see how that unfolds. Next up, we have Big Cass taking on one member of the Dudley Boys. That being Devon. At least we get to see Cass actually wrestle tonight. Because he was teased for a match against Jericho. But then Ambrose came in with the whipping of the jacket. Forcing the match not to be happening. So Cass ended up wrestling Devon. Okay, little match. It's short. Be more specific, a squash for him. Cass tried to not be distracted by Bubba Ray, but he did kick the hell out of Bubba Ray, knocking him off to set up Devon for the East River Crossing, his finisher. The Sidewalk Slam, he calls it that. 1-3 for Big Cass. They're saying he may get a big singles push now. And he's got potential. And I've always been a fan of Enzo and Cass. And Cass, for being a big guy, he's very agile and athletic for being 7 foot tall. You can't teach that, buddy. Maybe they may want to change it to Colin Cassidy. Because Big Cass sounds too much like Big E. Big Cass, Big E. Sound the same? Yeah. Next up, we have Alberto Del Rio taking on Kalisto. Times a million. As we head towards Kalisto's match against Rusev this Sunday. They're trying to rebuild Rusev. Not good with the 50-50 booking, guys. You had him lose. Thanks to interference from Kalisto last week, losing against Sin Cara of all people. But then, he won on SmackDown. 50-50 booking. Weird. Could be good or bad. But as Kalisto was taking on Del Rio, we had Rusev on the screen attacking Sin Cara backstage. It felt really weird and ironic that Del Rio match would see a Rusev interaction with him distracting Del Rio's opponent when they're no longer in the League of Nations together. So after that, Kalisto tried to focus on the opponent at hand, Del Rio. But then Rusev went out to the ring, dragged the lifeless Sin Cara out to the ring. In the only distraction finish of the night, with Kalisto almost being set up for the double stomp, but he got out of it, was by rallying effort. His mind was not in the right place. He got taken down by Del Rio. After a big backstabber being distracted by Rusev, 1-2-3 victory for Del Rio. And Rusev picked up the scraps. Super kicked the hell out of Sin Cara's partner, Kalisto, putting him in the accolade. Rusev, crash! Now, I'm going to try to push Rusev as a beast again. He lost so much momentum after losing to Cena last year in WrestleMania. Because he had so much heat. And then they fumbled with him. With the love triangle storyline. With Summer Rae and Ziggler and Lana that didn't go well. That ruined after real life drama. ruined it all with the real-life engagement of Lana and Rusev linking. And, of course, Rusev being bunched up with the League of Nations. And now he's his own guy again. So we'll see how this goes. Hopefully he wins Sunday. It brings back prestige to the U.S. Championship that has been lost since Cena's injury. On to our main event segment. I'm actually glad this was the main event segment. This ain't the first time the women's match contract signing is main event in Raw. And it happens again. It's Natalya and Charlotte, especially in Flair country, North Carolina. With Ric Flair coming out. The only Ric Flair involvement, because of course he's banned from ringside this Sunday. A new stip has been added to that match, involving Flair. We'll get to that in a second. So Charlotte was like, this is Flair country. And then Natty came out saying that what happened to the Charlotte that had no ego, that beat me, should I say, in an NXT TakeOver match for the NXT Women's Championship 2 years ago. It kind of started the ball rolling when it comes to World Women's Wrestling coming back to the company. And that was a great match between those two women. And that's when Flair or Brett did not get involved. Where's that Charlotte that won by herself, not with a creepy old man helping? And I actually liked Charlotte's promo here. I like this promo. Her mic skills are up, not as good as her dad's, but she's trying, especially with this promo right here. So that you're just another crying heart. Gonna beat you up Sunday, gonna be tapping. This great little promo. And Charlotte's about to sign it. No more talking. Sign it. But then she saw a new stip that's been added that she kind of balked at. Last week she had a match against Paige. That week Flair was banned. Like a practice one for what it'll be like this Sunday, with Flair being banned. But Rick disobeyed the ban. He still came out anyway. So a new stip was added. That if Rick wants to once again come out and disobey the ban, still come out anyway to try to distract Natalya, Charlotte will be stripped of the Women's Championship that night at Extreme Rules. So Charlotte signed anyway. And this is where the attention shifted. Should be all about the women here. But nope, all about McMahon's and Ric Flair. Ric Flair got in the Shane McMahon's face. He took off his jacket, being traditional Flair, when he's not drunk. He's this when he's sober too. Because people thought he was drunk in the airport. No. He's always like that. Because he's the Nietzsche boy. Woo! That's why we like Rick. He's crazy, but we love him. He's like a crazy uncle. He's the more intelligible Uncle Si of WWE. Not as crazy as Si, but still. Anywho, Rick wanted to get his hands on Stephanie. And Shane's like, don't do that. He was trying to break up Rick and Steph. He's like, I have respect for you, Steph, because of your husband, but I'm losing respect for you right now with this step. But Shane was trying to block Rick off of Stephanie, saying that he had respect for Rick. Steph's like, I don't. Slap the taste out of Flair's mouth. That's when Charlotte came in, trying to attack Stephanie. But then Natalya put in the sharpshooter. When Charlotte tapping again like she did a couple weeks back to settle this whole situation. With Natalya standing tall. Yes, it was sad to see this, the spotlight being hogged again by people that are outside involvements instead of the real women in the matchup. Seeing McMahon's getting involved in it and getting the spotlight with Ric Flair. But it was still good at the end of the day. It's still about the women. And hopefully it will be. At least with Ric Flair banned, this should be an interesting matchup. Being a submission match. The match at Warlock was great. Even with the Ric Flair ending, it was still a fun match. Back. Screw the ending aside, it was still good. But now, they have an opportunity to finally end this feud and let Sasha finally feud with Charlotte soon at SummerSlam like we all want. And have Natalya lose to Charlotte this Sunday. Even if she will lose, hey, they're trying to add some legitimacy, trying to add some hope to Natalya than winning, but we shall see. Should be a fun matchup, though, and hopefully be better than the matches recently, especially with no Wick. So we have the main event match. Reigns against AJ. Extreme Rules. We have Shawn Natalya. Women's Championship submission match. A solo match. Chris Jericho against Dean Ambrose. The tag team title match. The New Day against the Vaughn Villains. We have Kalisto and Rusev for the U.S. Championship. The Fatal 4-Way for the Intercontinental Championship. Owens, Cesaro, Miz, and Sami Zayn. Probably in a match against Usos and Gallows and Anderson again. And we got a match added for the pre-show. For the second straight pre-show in a row, this time it's not a surprise like it was last time. Supposed to be main roster, then it's surprise, put it on the pre-show. But now it's announced for the pre-show. Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, no DQ. It's sad again, it's the pre-show match, but at least it's got an extreme stip, and hopefully Baron Corbin wins this time. He won last week on Raw. Hopefully he wins this time on a pay-per-view. Even if it's once again, we'll get into the pre-show. And that is it for my Raw review tonight. Thank you so much for watching. With that in mind, you've been attacked by the review from Zach. See you later, yeah.